hello and welcome to Political Voice. My name is Moses Humphrey. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu arrived early for the commencement of today's Global Financing Pact Summit in France. Well, he arrived France yesterday. At the venue of the meeting in Paris, France, the president was received by French Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs, Catherine Colonna. Now, Tinubu, who arrived in Paris on Tuesday, actually, will not only attend the summit, but will also hold bilateral meetings with various countries, including officials of France, US, and Switzerland. And this is to discuss possible ways of attracting foreign direct investments. Well, the financial summit hosted by France seeks to establish a system that will be more responsive, just, and inclusive, a system that will fight inequalities, finance the climate transition, biodiversity protection, and move closer to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Well, I'm being joined by Prince Ebitemi Angbare, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. And we're talking about the impact of the president's visit to France. All right. Good morning to you, Prince. Good morning to you. Now, Prince, let's talk about the president's visit to France. Why this summit? This summit is aimed at, basically looking for solution to nations that have been stricken by poverty. One would ask, why? Well, why is Nigeria part of this?
Of course, we must be part of it. It's obvious that Nigeria today is a very rich, it's not a rich country. We can be called giant of Africa, but on paper, the receipts are not there. There's no revenue. The revenue level is very, very low. We can hardly fund our budgets. We borrow to fund our budgets. So it's clear that we must look for ways and means to solve this problem. And as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Mr. President, is someone that has the knack for gathering, opening ways, getting different ways of generating revenue. And we're not surprised that he took this opportunity to travel to France, where he will sit with the key players of the world to see how he can attract them from Nigeria. Everything about Asuwaju is revenue.
Revenue.
It's just about how to continue to grow the revenue so that we can stop borrowing to fund our budget, so that we can have money to do all the things he has lined up to do for this country.
Well, interestingly, the president seems to have really good motives so far. Nigerians have applauded steps that he has taken to improve the economy. Measures taken also have been applauded by Nigerians. But one would ask, out of curiosity, this is the first time the president is traveling to France in an official capacity, but during the elections, after inauguration, we saw that he had to travel to France, and he's been to France like twice. Now this one making it the third time. One would ask, why France exactly? Okay, because he seems to have a certain relationship, or there's something going on with France that he seems to be really interested in. He said he went there to rest during after the campaign. He went there to rest, and after a while he went back there, and then we heard he was going there to woo investors and then have meetings as well, away from people over here.
Working visits,
Work,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, true.
Why
True.
France? Why France,
Yeah,
really?
why France? Well, for I think it's not just because of he has a comfortable home in France, okay, and he believes that the people he wants to do business with can easily connect with him in France. It's not it's not France as a country,
Okay.
okay? It's not France as a country, but he has a comfortable place in France where he can run these affairs, and people come there. He's not distracted. If Ashwaji is in London, he'll be distracted. Anytime Ashwaji is in London, the whole Nigeria is in London. But when he's in France, and I think it's because Nigerian population in France, I mean in the UK, is heavy. Okay, but it needs a quiet place to function. He's going for serious business. He prefers to go to France. That's one secret I can give to you now.
So in essence,
Nigeria,
we should
it's not
see
France as a nation.
so we should see more visits to France then in the future.
Well, if they are necessary, you will see. But for now, I think Azuwaju will stay more in Nigeria. They will stay more in Nigeria to do this work.
All right, now you were part of the campaign council. How will the president's manifesto influence the case that he'll be making at the summit today?
Revenue. Azuwaju wants to build a very strong economy for this country. And you know the importance of foreign investments. You know what that can do for us. Okay, they are coming in with their money. Already, we are seeing signs. U.S. is already signing agreements with Nigeria on renewable energy. You know, so these are the problems. These are the core areas where we need quick intervention. If we must get it right with our economy, then our sector must come up. You know, we have now enabling laws. You can come into Nigeria and invest in power. Unlike before, when you come, you must donate it to the national grid. No, now you can come and run it as business. You know, so these are the opportunities that are open to us, and as well, we will continue to talk about them. The manifesto, number one thing there, you know, apart from security, is to jumpstart the economy. We must get the economy working immediately, especially in the post-subsidy removal era, where things, you know, ordinarily will look like things are tough. You must get the economy to work so that Nigerians will not feel this impact of subsidy removal. You know, so that is the number one thing. Agriculture must begin to get results now from agriculture. We'll begin to grow our food. We'll begin to grow the foods we eat in Nigeria. So all these are things that are of great concern to us, and that's what the manifesto talks about. Security will be defeated so that our farmers can go to farm and grow the foods that we eat in this country.
I was going to come to that. I was going to come to that because if we are asking people to come and invest, then we should make the environment conducive enough. And we know that insecurity has been a major challenge in Nigeria, with kidnappings in, you know, the kidnapping of expatriates and all of that. Those things have scared investors away. What would you say are the measures that the president has in mind to put in place to ensure that security is beefed up? Now, he has changed service chiefs. That is an action that we have seen. Are there other things that we should expect in the future? I mean, if you're privy to these information, we would like to have them, as this might just help the minds of Nigerians.
Great. Number one, to change the service chiefs. That will come with some level of hope. Okay, the renewed hope. You know, as I said earlier, you know, I mean, yesterday in our conversation, I said the idea of dissolution, change of service chiefs, is just to bring about that newness that Nigerians want to see. You know, we have a new government. Is it going to be business as usual? But with service chiefs now changed and, you know, competent hands have been brought in to replace them, it is clear that things are going to have the security matter will receive the necessary attention.
Okay.
I can draw that. I can take that from the IG, sorry, the Inspector General of Police. The acting Inspector General of Police, who said that he felt like that there is a lion inside of him that is ready to go after all the criminals in Nigeria. You understand, to devour them. That is the spirit we are talking about. So, with that kind of spirit, Nigerians will be expecting results in the coming days, and I'm sure Nigerians will see results. Same for the armed forces.
All right. The U.S. As you rightly mentioned earlier, the U.S. Has signed agreement with Nigeria to provide renewable energy. But let's bring it back home now. Nigerians are still struggling with electricity. The generation of it is a problem. Transmission of it is a problem, and Nigerians are having to power their own, help themselves to power their businesses and industries. And now we are also wooing investors to come in. Are we going to depend on what the U.S. is promising to be able to generate power that these investors will use? Or are there other measures that the government is looking to put in place to ensure that electricity is made available for everybody and affordable too? All right, I have a problem with your audio because I can't hear you at the moment. I think it's a network.
I also have a problem with. It's a network problem because it's also coming from your end.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead,
can
please.
you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. It's no more business as usual. The monopoly around the power business has been destroyed, has been taken away. Meaning that you and you can even invest power, okay, in your neighborhood. You can set up your own power plants and run business. And if you choose to sell at a lower rate, of course, you know that because of the competition, I'm sure the government will follow it through. State governments can also generate their powers and also use the power for their people in their various states. Same for local government. So in the coming days, I expect more investors will come into the power sector and will begin to enjoy affordable power, steady and affordable power.
All right, but the policy is still quite new. The policy for states to generate power is still quite new. So one will still have to wait to see how all of that pans out. Now, let's look at ease of doing business in Nigeria. We know it's not getting documents, the bureaucracy, the bottlenecks and everything to get businesses on the way, on track, and people doing business seems to be a challenge. In fact, it is a challenge. What are the plans that this administration has in place to ensure that there is an ease of doing business in Nigeria? So Nigerians themselves can get their businesses on the road. Foreigners can come in as well, invest and get their businesses on the road. And everybody will have to benefit in the long run.
Did so much in this area, okay? Register business names with stress and get it takes almost forever for you to get your business name registered. But now you can do all that without much ado. And the last administration also tried to reduce the time of moving containers from the ports. Okay, so this government is just going to leverage on that. This government is going to make sure that all those things that make it difficult for people to go into business, for people to enjoy doing business, will be removed. All those obstacles, one after the other, will be removed.
Okay, it's interesting that you say.
Access to credit.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Access to credit.
Okay,
Yeah,
access to credit. Okay.
Is another major problem, okay? And this government pays so much emphasis, in that regard, where you will have access to credit. Because you know banks, even now you can see that banks, there is a directive that banks should begin to sell dollars to the people, to the public. You understand? As against selling dollars to only bureau de change. You know, so you can see that there is a deliberate effort now for the banks to do business with people. Lending has been a difficult thing. The banks don't lend. Nigerian banks don't lend, and even when they lend at very, they make the conditions very difficult for you. You know, somebody who has a business worth $2 million, you know, and they're asking for collateral. The man's business is even worth $1 million, and you ask him, he needed only 200 million naira, and you're asking him for collateral. The man say, okay, take my factory, take my house, and up till now he has not. So access to credit is a major problem, and this government has said that they will deal with that problem. They will ensure that we have access to credit so that people can do business. If you have access to credit and you have a credit, good credit, it shouldn't be difficult for you to access credit, run your business, and continue to pay the bank. You know, so that's the government has said clearly that there will be access to credit. All obstacles will be removed to credit and do business.
All right, now another thing that is of major concern is the perception of Nigerians. Now we know that corruption and other things that have been that Nigerians have been known for has affected our image globally. Internet fraud. I mean, Nigerians are not the only ones involved in some of these things, but it's been a dent in the image of Nigeria, especially when one travels from one country from Nigeria to any other part of the world. You get to see how the Nigerian passport is treated. Well, you get to see how one carrying the Nigerian passport is treated. You know, you're asked to step aside. You are frisked specially. It's obvious that there is an air of distrust amongst the people around you, and then one starts to wonder if all of this can be rectified. So Nigerians will be proud to hold a passport and say, yes, I am Nigerian, come do business with me, both here in Nigeria and abroad. Do you think the government, are there plans to clean up the image of this country, especially as perceived internationally? And what are these plans?
Yeah. Well, number one thing is to get our people to be more patriotic, okay? And if you have hope that you can make it in Nigeria, if you have that you can make it decently, you will not be desperate. The image of Nigeria has been battered because people became very desperate. People lost confidence in Nigeria, in their country. They didn't believe that. They didn't have any belief that their country was working for them or was ready to. But the moment you are able to prove to your citizens that you are ready to work for them, that there is hope for this country, that's why we are preaching the renewed hope. The renewed hope is for people to say, hey, wait a minute. Since we are not going well, but now give us a chance. We can make things work. That's where we are. To get citizens to be patriotic, to get citizens to be less desperate, you have access to credit. If you make it easy for people to have access to credit, then you can give them, they can see the silver lining. It's okay, if I stay back and I follow the process, I'm able to get good credit rating, I can access credit and I do my business. If I also know that there's power, I want them, the enabling environment is created for me to do business. So getting it right is to the image of Nigeria, to work to improve on the image of Nigeria is for government to come up with all these These are the policies that government the government of Ashwaju wants to bring in to encourage people to let hope in Nigeria. And if you have hope in Nigeria, Nigeria will not be desperate. If a child, a young man knows that there is hope for him to buy a car without necessarily bringing out 5 million naira. He can go to he can approach a bank can buy the car for him, so as it's done abroad. Okay, you get access to 5 million naira directly to the bank buys the car for you. So this is good life. It's good life. This desire to live well, to enjoy good life that makes people become desperate. And when they are not able to control their level of desperation, it impacts negatively on the country, okay, the image of the country. But when there is hope, this 5 billion, you walk to the bank, discuss with the bank. I'm a staff of Federal Medical Center, and this is my salary every month, and I want to buy a car. And the bank makes it possible for you to buy the car, and from your salary, they take something every month, maybe for 2 years. And you are also part of the big boys in town. You're driving in a brand new car. You will not be desperate. You'll be less, desperate. Your commitment will be to your nation that is making this thing possible for you. You want to live in a and from the Renewed Hope Manifesto. Okay, I'm speaking to the issues that we raised in the making of the Renewed Hope. So this is the mind. This is the mind of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is the mind of the Renewed Hope Manifesto that Asiwaju is going to implement.
Okay, interesting to hear this. But we know that the
Yeah.
previous administration, still, tried to fight corruption, but then always complained that corruption was fighting back. And now we can see with the changes being made, the suspension of certain government officials, one can say it seems the president is trying to fight corruption. But corruption, as we know it in Nigeria, is such that it usually would want to fight back. What if corruption starts fighting back? Are there measures that you have put in place to
The
ensure
difference will be,
that you have your guards raised and will
there are
combat
measures.
whatever corruption throws at you?
we are this administration is going to fight corruption differently. Okay, I just mentioned the access to credit.
Okay.
Okay, access to credit. You fight corruption with innovations. It's not just by arresting people. Okay, you fight corruption by introducing innovations. One, access to credit. If a young man that is working, for example, again in the jobs, knows that he can drive a good car without necessarily stealing from his office, that is a way of fighting corruption. So you fight corruption with innovations. Okay, you have introduced access to credit. The man can go to the bank can buy the new car for him, and he pays gradually. You are reducing that appetite for corruption. This government will do everything to fight corruption with innovations. Fight corruption by putting the right people in places and making sure that there are measures, the standards that will be set for everyone, so that you don't get involved in corrupt practices.
All right. You also said that the government is looking at making people more patriotic, as one of the things that can make Nigerians more patriotic, really.
Yeah.
Now we know that ASU is threatening to embark on strike because of salaries that were not paid, especially by the previous administration. How do you make them more patriotic when they feel the government doesn't really care about them? ASU threatening to go on strike, and information that filtered in yesterday about government officials receiving 114% increase in salaries. Now that, even though it's not been really debunked, but there's still there's talk about it. But how do you think people will now believe, oh, okay, this government really cares about me and not trying to do something to continue getting money into their pockets?
It's still in the realm of speculation. It has not been debunked, and I think it will be debunked. The authority, the right authority, will speak to this matter very soon. So for ASU, it's going to be continuous engagement. All right. This government just came in, not just about 3 weeks now. Yes, it's a government of continuity. It will carry the burden. It will carry this burden also, the burden of ASU. And I'm sure when they sit on the round table, they will be able to find a way out, the way to fix this ASU problem once and for all. Yeah.
All right. Now, when we talk about, let's come back to the focus now, which is the visit of the president to France, which, of course, to get money in for the country, get investors in for the country. One would ask the question: how do we define the nation's wealth? Is it money in the hands of government or money in the hands of the people? How would you define the nation's wealth?
It's
Money in the hands of government or money in the hands of the people?
money in the it is money in the hands of government that will put money in the hands of the people. So money in the hands of government will put money in the hands of the people, because you need the roads. If you're a farmer, you need to have access to your farm. So it's money in the hands of government that will open up the roads to your farm, so that you can bring your goods, your produce to the market. If you don't have a good health, if you don't have good health facilities, and you are sick, I mean, so government puts all these things in place. These are the things we call enabling environment. It is money in the hands of government that creates enabling environments for private people to thrive. You understand? So those big things cannot be done by the private sector. The money in the hands of government will make the security you need to go to your farm, to go to work and make money for yourself. That security can only be provided by money in the hands of government. Puts money in the hands
of the people.
The people.
All right, that's a quotable quote that we'll take from you. We'll take that quote and then put your name underneath. That's what we'll do after the show. Now, let's look at, as the government tries to bring investors in and tries to raise money for Nigeria and Nigerians, should Nigerians be worried that things like the National Theatre and monuments like that, yeah, that's the word I was looking for, monuments might be sold? Because these are talks that have, been peddled around for some time, the possibility of selling national assets. Should we be concerned that this might be the case? And do you think it's something that is necessary to do, maybe to sustain them or to raise money?
Yeah, true. To sustain them, government can go into PPP, okay? Government can look for partners, private partners, to work with. Because some of these monuments are just there for decoration. That's not the purpose. The purpose is for revenue generation, okay? The purpose is for them to function optimally. And if that is not happening now, and that can be achieved through bringing in the private partners, why not? Why not? You understand? So even the refineries, all these assets, national assets, to get them to function optimally, it's to bring in the private people, bring private partners to work with government and get these things to function. The ultimate aim is to get the best of these national assets. Are we getting the best of them? If we're not getting the best of them, why not do the needful? And the needful is to bring in the private expertise and get them to work, to run, function very well so that we can make money from them. Yeah, you don't tie government money in it because you want to just leave it. I mean, you say you don't want to bring in partners. The whole idea is to get them to function. And labor must come in now to reason with government. You have a refinery that is not functioning. You're paying salaries. You have staff there. You're paying salaries. And the government is saying, come, let's talk together with private people who can come in so that this thing, you say, no, you don't want your workers to be uh, to be dropped. You don't want your workers to be disengaged. And because you don't want your workers to be disengaged, we are not working, the refinery is not working, and they keep collecting salary. We must get out of that. We must begin to think progressively. So I expect us labors, the industrial court said, no work, no pay. There's a judgment that no work, no pay. So if that is the reason why you want to go on strike, you have to think again. That's why we said people must be patriotic. You understand? People must become patriotic. If a judgment there's a judgment saying that no work, no pay, then you have to go back and say, okay, we've lost those days. Let's move on. Ask for a better deal. Government gives you a better deal, and you move on. So, but I believe at the point of conversation, all these matters will be resolved.
Are you now saying that people should, out of fear, not protest when they feel like things are not going the way it should go, especially in the workspace? Should people be afraid that our
Well,
salaries might be withheld, so let us not even go get on the streets or anything? Let's not call for a strike or a protest.
strike, protest should be the last option. Okay? Engagement. We must engage. That's why we expect that the Minister of Labor and all the conciliators that will come, will be people that will be able to engage and bring results. Not this endless engagement. You understand? Endless engagement from Monday to Friday, from January to December. No. We must have people who will be sincere enough on the part of government, and we demand that the leadership of ASU or other what's it called?
Organizations.
Groups will, yes, organizations will be reasonable enough to think with government at all times and not put government. I must congratulate them. I must thank them for the last conversation they had with government. You understand? Where Labour decided to suspend the planned strike. Wonderful. That's the spirit. That's the way to go. So I expect that as we go forward, engagement will be productive, not engagement that you come with a position and say, I won't allow this. And you maintain that position all through the conversation, even when they try to sway you out of that your position. But we will try as much as possible. I believe that this government will be very, very open and engage meaningfully with labor unions.
All right, so as the president speaks on behalf of Nigeria and Nigerians at the summit in France, what are the niche areas that he will pitch for or that he will pitch on, to sell Nigeria to the world? What are those niche areas? Can you give us some specifics?
As will be telling the world that we're in the era of renewed hope. We were telling them that it means business. He will be telling them that he has come to serve Nigerians with sincerity. He has come to serve Nigeria to the satisfaction of majority of Nigerians. He has come to see how he can bridge the gap between the rich, the very rich, and the poor. He will letting them know, he will giving them that assurance that it will not be business as usual. He will letting them know that corruption will not be tolerated. That's why the the early signs you can see with Bawa, with Mefile. These are positives, that the rest of the world will be looking at and say we can do business with Nigeria. So it will be coming from this criticism.
All right then. Well, let's also look at the fact that the conference itself is organized by India, France, Barbados, and so one would ask, this is a collection of both the rich and the poor, you know, the rich and the poor
Yes,
coming
yes,
together. So how
yes.
can Nigeria juggle its interest among, the super rich, the middle countries, and the low income earning countries?
Every nation that is participating in this conference can bring something to the table, and that is what Nigeria. That's what Nigeria will be going for. That's what Ashwaji will be gunning for.
Okay.
India and their sophistication in the area of health. So that we can draw from. We can get health opportunities to grow our
To
health
grow the
industry,
health
our
sector.
health sector
Okay.
in Nigeria. Yes. So everyone, country, nation that is there has something Nigeria can draw from. And you can trust as well. He must have identified what he wants from all of them, and he will be going for those ones.
All right. So in about a few days, the president will be back to Nigeria. That's in about 2 days. I think the conference is for 2 days. So
Yes.
by Saturday,
Yes.
we should see him.
Saturday.
Yes, by Saturday
Yeah.
we should see him come back to Nigeria. Now let's deviate a little bit, all right, from the conference. Uh, it's been 3 weeks of this administration, and we've seen one sack, another sack, a dissolution of MDAs, of the board of MDAs. When he comes back, are we likely to see another sack or another major move?
It's going to be the renewed hope is at work. Okay? And with renewed hope, you will definitely see things that will give Nigerians hope.
Yes, he
When he hit the
did.
ground running from the one, in other words, he was telling Nigerians that you will see signs. You will see
Okay.
signs. You will see signs of progress. You will see signs of hope. And so these are the signs, and you continue to see them. Yeah.
All right then. Signs of hope. Hit the ground running. A comedian did say you shouldn't get to a point where Nigerians will, start asking, "Why are you running?" There's a comic feel to that. But I hope it will get to that point. You're like, "Why?" Oh well. Now talking about
If we if if we have to run, if we have to keep running to succeed, why not?
all right, all right, all right. Indeed. Why not? If not, now Lagos has been peddled as the egg, for lack of a better word, the egg that the government has always pointed to as the major thing. Lagos, when the president was vying for the office, it was what he did in Lagos. That was the reference point. What he did in Lagos. What he did in Lagos. That was always everything pointed to what he did in Lagos and how he was able to generate revenue in Lagos, and Lagos became what it was, in spite of the fact that he was not given allocation at the time. Now,
Yeah.
there's a talk about civil servants in Lagos receiving increase in salaries, and some were saying, I don't know if you're privy to this information. Some are saying, oh, it's some sort of compensation, state government compensating the people for the support that he got for the elections. Uh, should we see this play out in other APC states, or should we see this play out all over the country?
Yeah, Lagos sets the standards for progressive governance, and it is not. People will always, throw tantrums, but the truth is that the government of Lagos State must show the way. That's the governor's, the president's state. And if we must keep this subsidy removal under control, then state governments are expected to be responsive. That's why you can see the governor of the state showing the way. It's all to cushion the effects, the pressure on the people. So with 62 naira now as minimum wage in Lagos State, it means that other states must begin to think out of the box also. And I'm happy to note that another progressive state, Kwara State also came up with a way. For them, I've not heard of increase in salary, but they have reduced the days to work in the week.
Edo State as well has done that. Edo State too has done that.
So 3 days. So it's about in the week. 2 days. The 2 days transportation has been lifted off the shoulders of workers in Kwara State. I hear also that Edo State has also increased.
Oh yes, Edo State has.
So yeah. So this is what this is different from how it has been in the past with the management of subsidy removal. You can see the dimension that has already brought into this matter by quickly inaugurating the National Executive Council and ask them to go ahead, come up with ways, states should come up with ways by which the federal government can support them to cushion this effect. So we call this the Jagaban spirit. You understand?
We call this what?
So the Jagaban spirit.
The Jagaban spirit.
You understand?
Okay.
Spirit that has permeated everywhere. You can see that subsidy was removed and there are no protests because he managed the situation. Okay? He managed the situation very well. Stakeholders are keen into.
There are no protests. There are no protests because a court injunction came out. An ex parte order came from the courts. But the people are still groaning.
The protest I talk about is not the burning of tires. You understand? Burning of tires. Those ones, you can't stop that with court injunction. You can't stop those ones with court injunction. But people, that's the Jagaban spirit I talk about. People have said, let's give this man the chance. The best, it means well. Let's give him the chance. And so from everywhere, governors are showing their communicating with their people. Even Ifman, has come to say, okay, we are buying into this your vision. We are going to supply 100 vehicles, to support mass transit. So these are the things, and with what Ifman has done, I expect other strategic players in the industry to also support this vision and make things easy for the people. Lagos set that standard, and people are key. People are joining Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu, to make life more meaningful for their citizens, especially civil servants. Then expect governors to provide mass transport. If you have mass transport system, it will make things easy for your people. Let your people move freely, at affordable rates to go and do their business. Not only those who are civil servants, but the other people also, who are not the other private sector.
Okay. That sounds like a relief. That will be a relief to a lot of people. All right, I must say,
that will be pay rise. Yes, that will be rise. Yes.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program today, Prince Ebitemi Angbere. Thank you, an APC stalwart, indeed. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for your time.
I thank you.
All right, then. Well, the president, the summit in France continues, and the president is representing Nigeria and Nigerians indeed. Well, we cannot wait but see the outcome of the president's visit to France and how it impacts on the economy of Nigeria. Well, that's it on Political Voice today. I'm Moses Humphrey. Enjoy the rest of your day.